Here's the truth for most new Amazon FBA sellers. So I need to do this warning video because there's a lot of nonsense out there. There's a lot of sellers that have been selling for a few months and now they're selling courses on telling others to sell, but they haven't actually got enough experience to actually do that. And they might be leading some sellers down the wrong road. So in this video, I'm going to give you a warning of the opportunity and how not to get misled and actually try and get some good results on Amazon. So without further ado, my name's Hayden. If you don't know who I am, I sell in the UK and the USA. I've got a brand and I do online arbitrage. I've been doing this for about 4 years now. Now, just quickly before we start, I have got a brand sponsor. They're called BuyBot Pro. If you want a 14-day free trial to them, hit the link below and you can use their Amazon calculator, which works out fees, etc., and all at ease. Yeah, great bit of kit which me and my team have been using for a long time now. So other than that, let's dive straight into the video. By the way, I do a no fluff kind of approach. I don't cut or edit any of these videos much at all, apart from the beginning and the end. All I do is just talk smoothly, accurately, and yeah, let's just dive into it. So my warning to Amazon sellers is this. The opportunity is very, very real. The opportunity has been real for some time now. However, the landscape changes consistently. This landscape does not stay the same on Amazon. What it was when I started, coming up to 4 years ago now, is completely different to what it is now. The methods that I sell, the ways in which I sell has completely changed, as in I've changed marketplaces, I've changed strategies, like I've done different strategies. Don't get me wrong, I still do some strategies that I did back then, but they're in a different marketplace, and I've implemented new business models and strategies within this place. I've got new coaches, got new mentors, and my mindset's completely different. So I want to give you a quick breakdown and a warning right now. So here's the warning. The reality is really, really real. I know there's a lot of nonsense out there, but it's real and you can make good money, and I promise you that I have been making more than a full-time income from this for many years now. So that's the truth. But here's the reality. It takes time to get going, but on top of that, you have to be ever changing. And what I mean by that is this landscape, this Amazon landscape, does not stay the same forever. As I said, what happened a few years ago, what changed a few years ago will keep changing. The models that I do right now will probably keep changing. But I think there's a few models that have always stayed consistent. There's a few ways of doing this Amazon stuff that has never really changed. There's a few models that things change within the models, but they stay the same primarily. And that's things like building a brand. Like things like building brands on Amazon is something that I don't think will ever go away. And I think if you want a long-term goal, if you want a long-term way of looking at this business model that feels proper to you, that feels like you wouldn't be embarrassed telling people about it. Oh, I'm just a reseller. Oh, I'm just an Amazon seller. Some people have got a problem with that, not me. Some people have. They get embarrassed to tell people because they think it's not a real job. If you want a real way of looking at this, then focus on a brand. Focus on potentially having your own brand one day as like that end goal. That's something that can never really go away, in my opinion. Unless Amazon stops third-party sellers, which is a different conversation, which I don't think will happen. And then there's things like brand deals, getting brand deals, where brands that are already established brands hire you and your services after you reach out to them and you become the main distributor for that brand. That's something else that I don't think will ever go away. Don't confuse that with reselling. Don't confuse that with just wholesale. That's proper. You know, you could be the exclusive rights, and I know people that do have 8-9 figure businesses on Amazon that resell other people's brands. And then I want to just talk about the reality of other stuff as well. The things like online arbitrage, the things like retail arbitrage. They are as well opportunities. Things like wholesale, like, you know, on a smaller scale, not brand deals here, on a smaller scale. They are still opportunities, but these are the sort of models, in my opinion, that fluctuate. And when I say they fluctuate, what I mean by that is I did online arbitrage, for example, a few years ago when I started in the UK, and it was okay. Things still got price tanked, but it was okay. And then it got to a stage where I wasn't happy to continue because the margins got so small and the price tanking got so bad that I decided to move. And I moved to a different marketplace. A few years later, I actually just stopped online arbitrage and started building a brand, doing bundles and stuff. Now, these models are the ones, in my opinion, that have got the most risk and they fluctuate the most. They also happen to be the easier barrier to entry, especially retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. And anything that is easy barrier to entry generally has the most risk. So my advice would be, rather than looking for the quick wins, rather than looking to cut the corners, rather than looking to go down Sainsbury's and make a few quid and try and sell 5 to 10 items that you find on the shelf, why don't you put in the work? Why don't you put in the work and make this into something proper? Make your end goal as doing brand deals, or make your end goal as building a brand. And there's nothing wrong with doing these other methods underneath that. And actually some people scale online arbitrage or wholesale with them smaller margins into a big business, and more power to them. If you're going to do that, once again, that's a good opportunity. I'm not saying it's not, but in my opinion, that's the highest risk business that you can run on this platform. I think if you want to do this properly, have your goal as the brand deals or your own brand, and then use the other models underneath to take you towards that, bigger goal in terms of the profit that you can make and the systems that you can create and the experience that you can gain while doing this. I just think, why put all the effort in if you're not going to have a model that is less risky? They're just more risky. And once again, I'm not saying they can't be done, but they're more risky. For example, if Amazon puts your fees up and you've got a big online arbitrage business that's running 8% profit margin and you've got the great systems in place and it's good, there's things that they can do, little tweaks that Amazon can make that can really impact the business. They might increase the seller fees like they did recently, which put a lot of businesses into, maybe minus or just making a couple of percent profit when they were originally doing 8 to 10. Or they might ask you for requests. They might ask you for requests. They might ask you for documentation requests for hundreds of your product lines. And if you don't know what they are, that means Amazon want the documentation requests, more information about that product. Especially this happened in the toys and games category recently. I think the supplements in the UK, where they said, we need more documentation for you to sell these products. And they put all these products into stranded, hundreds of products, until the seller submitted these invoices. Now, so these sort of things can happen and they can impact these other business models, but they don't impact your own brand as much. They don't impact when you've got the full rights to sell products. That's the difference, when you've got some sort of IP. So that would just be my advice. But once again, I'm not saying it can't work. So all of this, in summary, just says that the opportunity is great, but like any business that you want to become a proper business, you need to put in the hard work and put in the legwork to make this a proper business. And the people that are trying to skip the corners and go around are the ones that end up with the most issues, because they're doing the barrier entry level business models that can get most impacted by Amazon. I don't know where third party sellers on Amazon are going to be in 4 years, but I know where brand deal sellers and I know where branded sellers are going to be. People that have their own brands or do brand deals. That's my point here. The people that do online arbitrage, the people that do wholesale with other people that already do wholesale, with, and all trying to price tank each other, they're just high risk. That's my point here. So I'm not slagging them off. I'm just saying they're just high risk, in my opinion. So yeah, something to bear in mind as a warning. So I hope you enjoyed the video. As I say, make sure you check out the sponsor BuyBot Pro if you want a 14-day free trial. I'll see you in the next video.